Hey, everybody. As promised, I wanted to talk about how to take a strategic look at pricing your course. So I get this question all of the time. Tara, how do I know what the price of my course should be? And so often what I hear from people is like, well, I'm just going to pick a price. Like, I'm just going to, you know, like, this sounds good. This is what I think I can sell it for. And here's the deal. There's actually a strategy behind pricing your course. So I want to talk just briefly about that today. Hopefully this will help you out. I'm doing a training for Learn Academy, so thought this would be helpful for all of you in this group. So there are a couple different ways to think about pricing. The first thing is to look at your costs, right? So that's the first thing to look at is how much are your costs coming in, right? Salaries or expenses, the price of all the things that you need in order to run your course. So look at that and figure out like what's the cost that it takes to actually run your business, because you don't want to be running at a loss, right? So at minimum, you need to cover your cost for the course, right? And so that's a good place to start. So if you're like, well, I'm going to sell the course for $297, but your expenses are, $1,000 a month. Well, okay, that's probably not going to be a lucrative business for you, right? Because, and I'm going to read this because I was just reading something and it was such a great definition of business. Let me see if I can find it really quickly because I loved it. So the purpose of a business is solving people's problems for a profit at scale. And I love this because it hits three really important points, right? The first one is solving people's problems. Like we all as business owners love to solve our customers' problems, right? So the better the problem, the more apt we are to help solve it, the better off we're going to be, right? The more people who are going to be attracted to us. However, we need to run it as a profitable business, right? So often people get stuck kind of in the this is how big my business is. This is, how, what right, my revenue is, but that's really a vanity number. It's actually how profitable you are. So that's such a key piece of this. So when we're talking about pricing, we need to really make sure that we're covering our costs at minimum. And then obviously thinking about profit. How do we profit? How do we get profit for our business? Because obviously that fuels our growth, that fuels our freedom, that fuels why we're in business in the first place. And then the third thing is at scale, which of course I love too, because the goal isn't just to kind of stay steady. The goal is to scale it and really create a business that serves you as the business owner. So, okay, so that was a side note, but super important. So the first thing is to look at cost and make sure that at minimum you are covering your costs. Then the next thing is to look at cost plus what is the profit that you want to make based on what your costs are, right? So typically you look at a certain percentage as a profit margin that will be determined based on your industry, but somewhere between 20 and 50% is typical from a service-based business perspective. A little bit less, I think, from an e-com perspective or a product perspective, but look at what it is for your industry and shoot for a particular profit number for that. So then the second thing then is to really look at what it is you want to sell it for, right? So that's really the cost plus the profit equals what you want to sell it for. What's your ideal number that you would want to bring in for your course? Then the third thing is do your research. Go out and look at competitors who are selling something similar, either a similar style product or course, or a similar topic, and how they're handling that and what they are pricing their course at. So really do the research around that and kind of see what's out there in the market and try and compare. Then the fourth thing is really looking at the value that you're providing. So one of the rules that we have is that the value of your offer should be 10 times the price. And so a lot of times this means you kind of, identify the price based on the other three things that I've talked about. Now how do you 10x the value of that offer so you can justify the price so it's a no-brainer for the person who's purchasing it, right? So really look at the value that you're providing or the value that you could provide in order to get that 10x value. And so you're looking at the price and then you're looking at the value and how do you stack your offer to really make it just a no-brainer that somebody's like, yes, for that price, like for sure, right? So that's how you start strategically thinking about pricing. It's not just throwing a dart. It's not just saying, well, I've heard everybody else, use this number, so that's what I'm going to do, or this is what I want to charge. It's really looking at all of those factors in terms of strategically pricing your offer. So hopefully this helps in terms of that. Now, the next question that I get very, very often is on the beta. So you've kind of determined your core offer and the value or the price based on the value, based on cost, based on profit, all that kind of stuff. And then the next question I always get is, well, should I discount my beta because it's the first time that I'm doing it? And my answer to that is no, you shouldn't. Because, and consider this, like not only doing your beta is providing, that same level of results and experience on what you're teaching because you've worked on your framework and you really have kind of that transformation dialed in, is that you are showing up and like literally you are so highly motivated to help your founding members, your beta group, that the value that they're going to get is like astronomical, off the charts, best experience ever, right? Because you're going to be going through your material in a way to really capture all of their testimonials so they become raving fans, right? And so that means you're going to continuously work with them. So don't discount your beta. If you choose to, because there's a strategic business reason for it, great. But don't just automatically discount it because it's your beta, it's your first time doing it. One of the things just to plant in your head, if you are in that place where you're thinking, but I haven't taught it before, right? It's my first time teaching it. I better discount it because I haven't done it before. Let me ask you a question. When you signed up for college classes or for a workshop or a seminar that you went to in person, did you prepay or did you wait until after you showed up in that room and went through that seminar in order to pay? You paid first, right? And then you went with the confidence that what they were going to give you was what they said that they were going to give you, right? And so think about that, like just because it's online, just because you're doing it for the first time and you're doing it online virtual, doesn't mean it's a lesser experience. Doesn't mean it's something that should be any different than signing up for a live session that's in person. So be confident in that and be confident in that pricing. So again, hopefully this serves you. Wanted to give you just a little bit of a taste of the training that I'm doing on strategic pricing for your courses.